Hello, YouTube. Hello, viewers. It is Jamila Asata Aset, the Goddess Queen. And I want to thank you today for tuning in to my channel and tuning into this lap of my journey and returning to Yay Yay, thriving and Yay Yay, being nurtured by Mother Africa. So if you've been keeping up with my journey, that is beautiful. I want to thank you. Please subscribe, like, and share with your friends. Today I am talking about the staunch differences between my time in East Africa, which is Egypt, and West Africa. I'm now here in Dakar, Senegal, and things are so different. There's a lot of similarities, but then there's also a lot of differences. So I'm going to share some of those with you right now. Okay, so difference number one. One of the things that I noticed about my time here is the way that I am received or viewed as a foreigner in terms of the staring. So when I was in Egypt, like it was a constant thing for me to be stared at, gawked at. Even in some cases, I was followed, being a woman in Egypt. But here in Dakar, I have not been followed. Even the staring is like eye contact. You know, I look at them, they look at me, and that's it. Like, it doesn't feel like, I am out of place or I'm not supposed to be here. So that's one big difference that I've experienced so far. And that's important to me because it kind of helps me feel more welcomed being here. It makes me feel more embraced, and the stares are really like, it just feels like curiosity, like, oh wow, I've never seen this type of person before. Okay, great, hi, okay, bye. So I feel a lot more comfortable walking through the city. Difference number two, which is a little interesting, the way that this country is set up. So this is an Islamist country as well, and coming from Egypt, now to Senegal, they're both Islamist country. They both have a majority Muslim population, but it's so different here. Like when I was in Egypt, there were mosques like every certain amount of kilometers. It was like mosque and mosque and mosque and mosque, and calls to prayer like all throughout the day, 3 o'clock in the morning. I talked about in another video how I couldn't sleep because 3 a.m., the first call to prayer. And so it was a lot. And so being here now, it's another Muslim country, but it's a lot more relaxed. The vibes are just a lot more uh, flow. So there's nothing like, oh, you can't sleep past a certain time, your sleep is going to be interrupted, or you're going to walk through the streets and just see a ton of people kind of stopping and praying. It's not like that here at all. The first time I heard a call to prayer was this morning, and I've been here since Sunday. And so and it was beautiful. It was really, really beautiful to even hear that. I almost jumped out my bed to go record it. So the way that this country operates in terms of Islam is very, very different from what I'm seeing on the east coast of Africa. I think there's a lot more leniency here and a lot more strictness and judgment and etc. there. So even with bringing that up, that brings me to the third difference, which would be our clothes, like what we're wearing. So here, like, we feel a lot more freedom and mobility to wear the things that we want to wear, of course, with respect. Yesterday Couture and I went out and she wore something that's like a corset, but it was not a problem. It was no big deal here in Senegal. Senegal has a lot of different things going on, but there's a lot more acceptance of various lifestyles, especially where I am right now. Right now, we're in an area called Almaty, and Almaty is an area that attracts expats, it attracts tourists, it attracts people who are from all various parts of the world. So there's a lot of wealthy businessmen here. There's just a lot of wealthier people here in Almaty. And even when I was in Egypt, the only places that we could really wear things like that were again in areas like where the hotels might have been. I couldn't wear a swimsuit, a regular swimsuit at the swimming pool. I had to wear a full bodysuit, like pants, long sleeve top, you know, even for Women's Day, I couldn't wear a regular swimming suit. And so I could only wear my swimsuit within the confines of the hotel. So with where it would be safe and where I would be around people who understand a Western lifestyle. So there was a lot more restrictions in that way, you know, in terms of covering the body in Egypt versus Senegal. So that's another major difference. All right, so I think this is one, two, three, four. Four. The fourth difference is in the level of helpfulness. Oh my gosh. So when I was in Egypt, like if I needed help, I was on my own. I had to rely on Google Translate a lot. I had to rely on my maps a lot to just help myself because the people were not very helpful. Like whether they spoke English, didn't speak English, like I just on the streets, people were not helpful. As a matter of fact, when I went to the train station to buy a train ticket while I was in Aswan, Egypt, I am telling them, you know, I have my phone, so I'm telling them like, this is what I want. I write it down and I'm like, this is what I want, and I give them the money. But he's like asking me in Arabic, you know, additional questions. So I'm trying to tell him he can use my phone to speak to me, and then he just like starts serving someone else. Like, and that's pretty common. Like, it's just a different level. They're not very helpful or willing to try and work with you, or they weren't really trying to work with me in terms of understanding so that they can help. Here in Senegal, they don't speak English in the areas that I've been staying in, but they're still willing to help. They're willing to try and figure it out. They will go phone a friend. They will go ask somebody. Like there's just been a lot more willingness to assist and willingness to help you get what you need. Like the energy of the people is they're so sweet. You know, they're very respectful, very loving people. So there's a level of kindness that exists here that I just didn't get when I was in Egypt, when I was in the east coast of Africa. I got it. It's not like that. So that would be another really, really, really major difference. So I think this is number five. The fifth major difference is the respect factor. And I know that kind of ties into the helpfulness, but I'm going to separate it because of how it translates to me. And so when I speak about respect, when I was in Egypt, there was a very, very, very cutthroat energy. You know, there was a very cutthroat energy. Like basically this feeling of entitlement. You're a Westerner, give me your money. You know, you need to pay my prices. I mean, I was walking down again in the streets of Aswan, and a guy was trying to sell me something. You know, lady, you buy my, let's say, painting. And I was like, no, thank you. Right? No, I don't want it. And so he was like, it's only, you know, let's just say, it's only 300 pounds. And so I said, no, I don't want the painting. So I'm continuing to walk, right? He walks around and stands in front of me and says, why? Why you don't want this painting? Why you don't want it? It's only 300 pounds. Like, sir, what you mean? Why? Like, what the fuck? I don't have to explain why I don't want no goddamn painting. If I don't want your shit, I don't want your shit. But the level of hostility that he was coming at me with, I have not received or anything comparable to here. Like here it's been the complete opposite. You know, of course there's still vendors, of course there's still salesmen, of course there's still saleswomen. Like there's still all the same things that that existed over there. And I'm surprised at how similar the cities are actually set up. Like I was just super surprised to see how it's like, oh, there's a lot of sand there, there's a lot of sand here. Like the structures of the city are very, very similar, but the energy here is so much more relaxed and loving. And it just doesn't have that cutthroat, you know, killed or be killed kind of vibe. It doesn't have that pushiness that I don't give a fuck. Let me just make this kind of sale thing that Egypt had. Senegal, the people here are so humble. Like they talk to you and you can talk to them, and even if they're not understanding everything completely, they're going to do their best to help you either way it goes. The men here are just very, very, very respectful. They're so sweet. The men in Egypt that I interacted with, there were only a few, maybe two or three, that I will say were just very kind to me. But here across the board, Senegal has shown out in terms of the men. I had an incident with a taxi driver where I had to basically curse his ass out in good old Decatur, Georgia. Like Decatur talk is a different kind of talk, you know what I'm talking about? So I had to go in on him, and he took it because he knew he was wrong. Oh, you look cute. Okay then. Okay then. So he took it because he knew it was wrong. And another guy came over, after we had finished our trip. I, sent my kids in, go do what you need to do. And I just, like I said, I went in. But he took it and he knew he was wrong. And another guy came over and basically was like, yeah, bruh, like, you whatever you are doing that is disrespecting this woman, like you gotta chill. And he was like, sister is going to be okay. This is the other guy. So I'm like, the way that they're operating, the men have been very helpful. They have not been intimidating. They have not been intimidated by me. I wasn't really able to make a whole lot of friends in good faith in Egypt. But since I've been here, like even people who I'm meeting, it's very easy to link up with people and say, okay, nice to meet you, get to know you, exchange numbers. Like it's just easy. It's a lot easier and it feels a lot more natural. So of course, the experience that you will have anywhere you visit is always going to be unique to you, to what you're bringing, to what other people are bringing. So I can only speak about me and my experiences and what I am dealing with while being here. But I'm absolutely positively just very aware that there are so many differences between my experience in East Africa, and this is the first time I'm in West Africa. I've never been to West Africa before in my life, never been to Senegal. And this trip to Senegal only came as a transition, as a way to get into the Gambia. Since I've been here, I met another woman, American woman, Sherry, who is also from the US and traveling to get to the Gambia to start her new life there. And I hope you guys get to meet her. I hope you ladies get to meet her. I hope everyone gets to meet her on this video journey, because she has a really beautiful story. She's in her 60s, actually. She just turned 67. So her coming here by herself, it means a whole lot, and it's a really, really big deal. And really just speaks to the time that we're in. This morning, watching the elections, I learned that my home state, Georgia, went blue. So that's definitely great news, and just very proud of the progress that we're making as a whole to get Trump out of office, because he should have been gone a long time ago, a long time. But outside of that, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. These are just the little rundown on the 5 differences that I've noticed, or 5 or 6 differences that I noticed coming from Egypt to West Africa, from East Africa to West Africa, and how I am receiving it and perceiving it and what I'm noticing. So again, like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.
I want to say bye.